Bullying in simple terms is about making another person feel as though they are less than human. So it's basically talking down or putting down someone, make them feel that they are inferior, that um, they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be feeling guilty for being who they are. Basically, any kind of action that demeans people, and it should be something that is repetitive. So, if I say, Ali, you have camel face, and being racist and being a bully because you come from Egypt, you look like a camel. And if Ali, you say, no, that's not good, sir. I don't like feeling that way, but I don't like you saying that to me. That's very offensive. Can you please stop that? I say, okay, Ali, sure, no problem. I'm sorry that I offended you. Done. That's not bullying because there's a single offense and I have apologized. You have called it out as an offense. That's not bullying. Bullying is when I say, I don't care. I'm still going to call you camel face. And every time I see you, I call you camel face. That offends you, that makes you feel very bad. That's bullying. Yeah, so there's verbal bullying, there's physical bullying. You usually find physical bullying among boys and men. And verbal more to girls. But then again, these days, everyone has got all kinds of ways of bullying, right? So verbal bullying would be doing things to insult, to humiliate, to threaten, to intimidate people repetitively. There's also telling of stories that could be sexual in nature that offends people, making fun of their gender, right? And of course, today we're talking about online bullying or digital media bullying. The whole idea of bullying is to show dominance over another person who is seen as a weaker person. So I purposely put seen or perceived as a weaker person because it's not necessary that the person who gets bullied is someone who's weaker, but someone who's perceived to be weaker. Therefore, the bully would want to bully. Although I use the term bully, I would really encourage everyone to not label anyone a bully, because one of the things to do to reduce bullying is to not label, because it kind of it has a stamp on your head as you're a bully and then you'll be so the rest of your life. That's a pretty unfair thing because bullies can also change. And if you keep on calling them bullies, then they're not likely to change. So people who bully, just that, it's kind of long to say people who bully. So I'm just making a disclaimer that although I use the word bully, it's better to not label someone a bully, right? So back to bullying, the whole act of bullying is also something that undermines the status, undermines the worth of the person to be bullied, the victim. And victims, how do they become victims? Well, usually they have their smaller size, they're perceived as weaker, therefore they can get bullied. And it also depends on how many bullies there are. Sometimes it could be a group, they can target one person. And the thing about bullying is we need to see it as something immoral. It is destructive. It creates a lot of pain and anguish in individuals and their families and friends. So it is immoral because of that. And people who bully, sometimes they don't know that those who they bully go through all this humiliation and pain and anguish. And sometimes they don't care, which is even scarier. Because if you don't care about other people getting hurt, that kind of shows that you are pretty much a sociopath of sort, that you don't care about other people's feelings. But for those who care, this is where prevention of bullying also involves identifying something as bullying and calling it out, meaning to say, hey, what you just did there just now is not nice. I would like you to stop because it hurts my feelings. So one of the ways to reduce bullying is to assert yourself. And for bullies who don't know that what they do is offensive, hopefully they learn, oh, okay, yeah, sorry to hurt your feelings. And then they stop. That's one way to stop it. And yes, there are a lot of myths also to bullying that I would like to bring up before we go into what we can do. A lot of people believe that bullying doesn't happen. It does. It does happen a lot, especially online. The whole phenomena of Internet of Things has made bullies very sophisticated, and bullying happens everywhere. And some people believe that bullying should be part of life. No, it doesn't have to be part of life. Saying that, oh, it's no big deal, everyone gets bullied. No, bullying is not a necessity. So it is not true that it should be part of life. It is not true that it does not happen. And some people believe, especially in schools, in universities like this, that once you enter university as a freshie, you should get bullied because that's part of being a new student. Also not true. You don't have to go through bullying because it is a choice. It's a choice that people make to bully or not to bully. When I went to university for the first time, my father warned me of bullying because in Malaysia, I don't know about other countries, if you're in a public university, you would go through what is called ragging. So ragging is kind of like being put through very humiliating kind of things to do as part of your orientation. And that's supposed to be a normal thing in Malaysian universities. So I was warned by my father to go through something like that. And I studied in Australia. But to my surprise, all new students were treated like kings and queens. We were pampered like anything. There was no such thing as ragging over there. And then I found out that they don't do such things because it is very disrespectful of individuals, rights. So that's new. That's not something I grew up with. Just goes to show that these things don't need to happen. You don't have to demean anyone for whatever reason, right? So it is something that I want to address, to say that bullying is a choice and you don't have to bully. It doesn't have to be part of life. Why that unnecessary destruction of someone's life? It may not sound like it's serious, but it can be very serious. You don't see that serious because you're not the one feeling it. Yes. And some would say, bullying makes you stronger. No. Bullying can really eat up someone from the inside. You can go with a one-third rule. Yes, okay, maybe one-third of people would get stronger with bullying, but the other two-thirds don't, right? The other two-thirds, one-third will become worse, one-third will just remain where they are and not improve. Some blame the victim. You're just inviting these bullies because you're weak. You show weakness. You're so meek. Of course you get bullied. No, again, bullying is a choice. Just because someone seems weak doesn't mean you must bully them. So don't blame the victim. Never blame the victim. Some people say, oh, bullying is easy to spot. Also, no, especially with online bullying, it's so difficult to see because it's virtual. And some people will say, oh, don't worry about victims because they will always report bullying. Also, no. A lot of people do not report bullying, firstly, because they're scared. Secondly, is because they don't know how, especially when it comes to online bullying, isn't it? Who do you report to? Right. Another myth, since we're talking about myths, this is about bullies. A lot of people think, bullies, the reason why they bully is because they got low self-esteem. In order for them to feel better about themselves, they bully others. But that's also not true. A lot of bullies actually have got very high self-esteem. The reason they bully is because they think highly of themselves and they can bully, right? A lot of bullies also are associated with people who have no friends. So they only resort to bullying because that's the only socialization they have. Also not true. A lot of bullies have got high self-esteem and have got a good circle of friends. It's just a myth to say that there are certain kinds of people who become bullies. People bully because they feel powerful when they get to demean, press people down. Because why wouldn't you feel powerful when you make others feel bad about themselves? It's a nice feeling of authority. You feel popular. or at least you think you're popular because you're able to bully others. You also perceive that you have got respect from others because you're able to bully them. And these are some of the perceptions of people who bully. They feel powerful, they feel as though they get respect. And sometimes they also bully because they do it on purpose. They just purposely want to hurt others, either because they're jealous or because they feel that the person they are bullying have done them wrong, have perhaps disrespected them or something. So therefore, they hurt others. And sometimes people bully also because of prejudice, because of some kind of ism. Could be racism, could be sexism, could be ageism. Yeah, just because you come from you're of a certain culture or ethnicity, you should not be treated equally. That's prejudice. So some people bully because of that. And some people are just antisocial. When I say the term antisocial, I don't mean the kind of antisocial that most people think about. In psychology, antisocial means you don't like people, you purposely want to harm people. And some people are like that. They're just antisocial. People who are antisocial are usually criminals. They don't care what happens to other people. They can harm people without even feeling any guilt or remorse. All right. So some people bully because of that. And some people bully because they're just frustrated. They just don't know what else to do. They lash out at people and then they start feeling better about lashing out and they continue. And then they become bullies that way. Some people continue bullying because they lack the insight. They don't have the awareness that other people are actually being hurt. And this is where it is very important to call out bullying, to label it, to actually say, hey, that's actually bullying. You stop it because it's destructive. All right. And some people who bully are victims themselves. They probably would have grown up being bullied, and they kind of like take on that whole belief that in order for me to now survive, I need to bully. I need to show my authority and power. My observation on online bullying, usually, if you compare online bullying to like face-to-face bullying, it somehow becomes easier for people to bully online because you don't get to see the reaction of your victims. And victims can't see their bullies. So you don't know who are these people bullying you. And the people who bully would not see the consequence of their bullying. And therefore, it becomes easier to bully. We see this not just in schools, but also at universities, because if you're made to do group assignments, for example, you probably don't even see each other. If you don't turn on your videos, we can't see you. And it's easier to criticize someone online than face to face. So because of that, you get tons of criticisms, which may end up being bullying when things move online. You don't see the emotions of the person receiving the criticism. So it becomes easier to just criticize and being very harsh. That's my observation. And those who receive all these kinds of criticisms and bullying probably also find it difficult to respond because you probably got an email that was sent the day before and the bully is no longer there. It's just an email, and how do you respond to it? And sometimes you get repeated messages of hate words and things like that, and you just don't know what to do. So yes, when it comes to things going online, one of the downside is you get an increase in bullying. This is where it's good for parents and teachers to look up and to learn about online bullying because it is very different from face-to-face bullying. All right. First step goes back to basics. Firstly, you need to know how to identify, to know whether you're being bullied. If you feel uncomfortable with the kind of communication you're getting online, you don't like it, you are made to feel as though you are not significant, you're small, as though you're rejected, you should be ashamed of yourself kind of feeling, that you feel guilty, you feel afraid. It's like no matter what you do, things are always wrong. It's like you're walking on eggshells. Something is constantly wrong and you're feeling very bad about it. It could be bullying. You need to recognize it. And secondly, once you recognize it, you need to reach out for help. Talk to someone about it. And especially online, one of the advantages you have is screenshot. Screenshot what you see quickly, record it, document it, reach out for help. Speak to someone whom you trust and tell someone, hey, I got this and I don't like it. I am feeling very uncomfortable. I feel afraid. Notice your feelings and express it. At the same time, also, you need to develop self-efficacy and self-confidence. Yes, you may be criticized for that one thing, but it doesn't mean that you should be ashamed of that one thing for your whole life. Realize that, yes, okay, we are human beings, we will make mistakes, we may not be good at certain things, but we can be good at so many other things. So don't let that one mistake or one criticism get you down. You need to be able to acknowledge that you have lots of skills. I make tons of mistakes. In fact, just today alone, I made so many mistakes that my boss had to correct me. If I were to just, look at it and go, oh no, poor me, oh me, I must be like really horrible, I wouldn't be able to function the rest of the day. All I did was, oh, oops, sorry, I'll correct it now, because I can correct it. I can do many things. Perhaps that's why I do too many things, because I know I can do them. So develop your own personal self-efficacy. That's what you can do in managing bullying, so that you don't have to feel too bad about yourself. Learn how to assert, how to express, to say, hey, look, what you said just now hurt my feelings. I don't like it. Can you please stop that? So knowing how to stop it. Know how to manage your emotions. If you find that you're getting emotional too easily and too quickly, do something about it. Get help from, usually trained counselors can help you in managing your emotions. It's okay to have emotion, it's fine. It's okay to get upset. All emotions that you feel are very adaptive. Adaptive means they're all natural. They're there for a reason. But if you find that certain emotions stop you from doing what you want, then you need to learn how to manage them, right? So number one, emotions are fine. Secondly, emotions can be managed if they disturb you too much. Make more friends also, enhance your social skills, because the more friends you make, no matter how many bullies you get, you have more friends than you have bullies. So that's one way you can address things. But basically, you want to reach out for help. And going back to what I said earlier, document, get evidence. Evidence is very, very important. All right. So that, if there's anything that goes against you, there you go, that's evidence. This is what evidence would mean: screenshot, date, time. Make sure you do that. That's what investigators do. Evidence, get the date, get the time. What we can do about bullies, you can avoid them. If you know that they are bully, you don't like them, just avoid them. You can ignore them as well. Bullies like being acknowledged. So if they purposely call you names and stuff like that, one of the best things you can do is just ignore. If you don't hear, you don't react, they don't get what they want. The reason why some people bully is because they want to see your reaction. They call you names. They want to see you get upset. If you don't get upset, they lose. So if you don't want them to win, just ignore. They are like sound. They're there. If someone calls you stupid, why should you believe that you are stupid? It's wrong number. Like somebody call wrong number. It's like, me stupid? Sorry, I don't agree. You don't have to agree. And sometimes it's because when you agree, you feel upset. All right. You don't need to have the acceptance from them if they're not nice people, because you've got acceptance from other people. So you can have that mindset. If they're not nice to you, why do you want to be accepted by them? You don't need to. You can be accepted by so many other people. Or sometimes you can play along, because if they just call you stupid and there's nothing else for them to call, they'll say, okay, yeah, cool, I'm stupid. What else? You don't know what else to do, then they probably stop because you're no longer entertaining to them. Yeah, it diffuses the threat. And like I said earlier, also, you can just stop it and tell them, look, I don't like this. Please stop. It's hurting me. hurts my feelings. And when that happens, I'm just not going to like you anymore. So if I don't like you, things are not going to be very nice when we have to work together. So let's talk. Let's just get what we need to get done. Or sometimes if you really can't do anything, just leave the situation and report it, reach out. Especially children, please talk to your parents. And parents, if they don't talk to you, investigate, find out what's going on. Because the earlier you address bullying, the better it is. You don't want to get overly traumatized by bullying because it's not nice. I'm a mental health professional. I used to practice as a clinical psychologist. I used to get lots of bully victims coming to see me. By the time they were referred to me, it was kind of severe already. Don't wait until it gets there because it's very expensive. I would like to also give you extra tools. And these tools can be something that's shared with other people. Teenagers, school children, tell them this. If they were to find out that their friends are being bullied, or sisters, brothers, or for the parents, their children are being bullied, it's very important to provide help. What you can do as a friend is to be a friend. Provide them with comfort. Provide them with your listening ear. Listen actively. Rather than telling them what to do, just listen. Because you want them to feel accepted. Bullying already makes them feel as though they're not accepted, they are rejected. You don't want to be rejecting them, you want to be accepting them. And to show that you accept them wholeheartedly, which means you listen actively. One of the best things you can do is to listen and to validate. To validate means to accept however they feel, whatever they say, no matter how much you disagree with them. If they were to say, I feel like I'm such a loser, accept it. Accept that they feel like a loser. You may not agree that they're a loser, never mind, but they feel like a loser, and that's something you need to acknowledge. It's very important to acknowledge how they feel because you want them to understand, you want them to feel that their feelings are okay. If you reject their feelings, it makes them also want to reject their feelings. And guess where their feelings come from? Them. If you reject your own feelings, you're rejecting yourself. So being a friend is about accepting, it's about validating, providing comfort and support. Ask them what can be done to help them feel better. All right, you try to provide them with as much support as possible. And very important is to thank them. Show gratitude to them for sharing with you. Because it's not easy to share any instance of bullying because it can be very, very humiliating and shameful. So offer the gratitude to them, thank them for sharing with you because that's a huge, huge, very brave thing that they've done. And you want to acknowledge that, okay? At the same time, also, you want to empower them to take steps to do something. People who get bullied normally feel very, very disempowered, very helpless. You want to provide empowerment, show that they can. So every step of the way, you can suggest things, let them do it, rather than to do it for them. Push them, encourage them to report, rather than you report for them. Sometimes it feels as though you want to be Superman, Superwoman to save the world, to save people. Saving people is by empowering them. So think about what you can do to nudge them towards the confidence to do something. All right. And another great thing you can do is to facilitate friendship making, help them make more friends, introduce them to friends who are nice, and keep on doing that. Because one of the ways to fight any consequence of bullying is to make more friends. Because when you make more friends, you got more acceptance. The more acceptance you have will drown out whatever rejection that you get. So how to help people who've been bullied? Be a friend, help them make friends, acknowledge, validate, and well, in order to do that, you have to listen.